Welcome back to Toni Told Me, the cozy corner of the internet with me, your big sis, Toni Tone. This is where you get the real talk and the real tea. Biggest apologies, guys. You may have been wondering why there wasn't an episode last week. I was going through it, mate. I was going through it. If you follow me on social media, you'll know that I've been very busy, just gallivanting all over the place. I went from the cruise in Europe to Houston to Mexico for my birthday, back to Houston, came to the UK, and I thought I could just keep that same level of momentum up. But clearly my body had other plans. And yeah, I was literally bedridden for a couple of days, but I'm back in the studio. We thank God. Please make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your pods, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and do follow us on social media as well at Toni Told Me Pod. I would really appreciate it. I've never asked you guys this before, but if you could leave a review, that would be fantastic, because on a lot of these platforms, if not all of them, I think you can leave a review. Obviously, 5 stars would be amazing. I'm not going to pressure you or anything, but I would love to find out what you guys think. I've been seeing so many clips about Love Island UK, and I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't watched it as of yet. I've been watching Love Island US, right? But the clips I've been seeing have been kind of freaking me out. There's some girl called Helena. There's a girl called Shakira. There's a lot of like identity theft vibes going on, a lot of copying. And it made me think about my experiences being copied and how I felt, and whether I've ever felt like someone was trying to, I don't know, steal my life, if you will. It's kind of like voodoo-esque, but I feel like it's, Alicia's laughing, but it's a real thing.
Steal my life?
Yes, they're trying to steal your star. They're trying to steal your life. They're trying to be you.
They're trying to be you.
And that's the vibe I was getting from the clips I watched. So I wanted to talk about that, copying someone, and whether it's always innocent, whether it could be quite vindictive, and whether we should be concerned when someone tries to do what we do. But before I get into that, let me get into my life update. So obviously I said I was not feeling well, but we'll skip past that bit. I went to Mexico for my birthday. I went to Cancun with my fiance Tyler and my sister Tara, and I had a blast. I'm not going to lie, my expectations of Cancun were kind of mid because of all the stuff to do with like spring break. I thought it was just going to be like, okay. I thought that it might actually be a bit frustrating sometimes. I had this vision in my head of 21-year-old frat boys running around with like red cups. I'm not going to lie.
Red cups, that's so accurate.
Yeah, that's the vision I had. So when I went, I was actually pleasantly surprised. And it's not even my first time in Mexico. I've been to Tulum before, but Tulum is a totally different vibe. But we decided to go to Mexico because it's bordering Texas. And obviously Tyra lives in Texas. It was like a 2-hour flight.
I thought it was so good.
I know. We were just like, YOLO, let's go to Cancun for my birthday. And Tyra was like, yeah, let's do it. And we ended up in Cancun, and it really, really exceeded my expectations. We went to some great restaurants. I did a whole vlog about this. Went to some great restaurants where they brought out sparklers. There were belly dancers and all sorts going on. You're eating by a lagoon, so you've got views of the water. What else did we do? We did a kayak shoot where, I don't know if you saw this on my Instagram or my TikTok, but I'm not good.
That was giving.
It was sexy.
It was giving.
It was giving, yes. When I watched it over, I was looking at it like, is this us? Is this really?
Is it real?
It was giving music video.
It actually was.
I watched it like 5 times. I was like, oh my God.
I'll be watching that every night before I went to bed. Like, is this my life?
The amount of people, even family members that messaged me like, that was so hot. Oh my God. Even my management were like, oh my God, that was so hot. And I'm like, I even thought it was hot. So we did this shoot. And then what else did we do? We went to the best club ever. If you're ever in, I'll keep this brief. If you're ever in Cancun, or I think there's one in Dominican Republic, there's a club called Coco Bongo. You must
go. Was that the one with the performers?
Yes.
That looked unreal.
There were performances like we were in Las Vegas. Like it was like mini concerts. We had an MJ, what do you call them?
Like a tribute.
MJ tribute. We had a Kiss tribute. We had everyone was doing the Macarena. There were like big balloons flying around, confetti every second. Every club needs to be like that.
Yeah, the club was like that. Maybe I'll go.
Thank you. I'm not really a big fan of clubs because I just feel like everyone just sits around. They want to look cute. They sip on drinks.
Yeah.
And then no one even really dances anymore.
No one has fun in the club anymore.
That was a have fun in the club.
Wow.
There were some bits I had to cut out of my story though. I did get a bit of spring break vibes when we were in that club. because there's like a not like a jumbotron, but there's like a big screen where it zooms in on people.
Oh yeah.
Why was a girl flashing her boobs when she got the big screen, shaking those bad boys? I thought, oh my God, that's insane. Then there was another girl. They had a twerk off where they
No,
get a camera
guys, you
on
can't
one
do
person.
that for free. They're not even paying
They were
you.
doing it for free. They were on the ground. One girl got on the splits. She was doing the splits. I said, okay, this is the spring break element
Yeah.
that I thought I was going to get throughout. I didn't mind the sprinkle of it.
Just a little touch.
Yeah, just a little touch, but it was absolutely beautiful. Like lovely beaches, great food, lots of ceviche, lots of tacos, mango with tajin. I had a fabulous time. So yeah, but it did catch up with me, unfortunately. As always, Tea Time with Toni is the part of the pod where producer Anisha and I will be delving into your dilemmas. And producer Anisha has picked out 2 juicy dilemmas this week.
I have indeed. So this one says, "Hi Toni, I was dating this Nigerian guy who made me feel like we were building
oh my gosh, I
something
shouldn't even say
real."
that. Because I'm Nigerian and my
you're
partner's Nigerian. But you see how like my brain just went straight into, oh God.
Right. Well, no, because I've got major PTSD
From dating a Nigerian.
From dating Nigerian. So.
As a Nigerian woman, I think I can say this actually. Dating Nigerian men is not for the weak for the most part. Are there amazing ones? Yes, I'm with an amazing one. My brother is absolutely wonderful, right? But I would say there are a lot of demons in that community. And unfortunately, sometimes I do feel that the demons outnumber the good ones. So when she started off with Nigerian, that's why I kind of recoiled.
Yeah.
But let us continue.
So she says, "He was emotionally unavailable and often too busy with work, but things shifted when I told him I was pregnant. Suddenly, he became more present, more affectionate, and even excited about our journey together. But that didn't last long. Whilst abroad on holiday, I miscarried. I was in pain physically and emotionally and completely alone. When I got back, I was admitted to the ER due to PCOS complications. That same night, while scrolling through his younger brother's Facebook page, I discovered he'd been married since 2021.
See what I mean? What a bastard.
He never told me. Meanwhile, I've been upfront from the start about my own past marriage. When I confronted him, he shut down. He disappeared. Then came a long message. He was battling emotional issues, mad at God, his parents, his ex, and said our intimacy might have been transactional or convenient, mistaking it for love. No apology, no accountability. I feel deeply betrayed. I love this man. I lost our babies. And since then, no phone call, just silence and excuses. How do I heal from being deceived, dismissed, and left to carry all of this pain alone?" That is a lot.
What a prick. See what I mean? This is terrible PR for Nigerian men.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Where to start? First of all, I want to say I am so sorry that obviously you went through that miscarriage and that experience and you had to deal with that on your own. No woman should have to deal with something like that, let alone have to deal with it by herself. I'm sorry you went through that. Gosh, I don't know what to even call him, every name under the sun. He's selfish, manipulative, in my opinion, to even suggest that it was just like a throwaway thing. He is clearly a liar, and to lie for that long. He got married in 2020. He's a pathological liar.
2021, yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
That's a long time to be.
He lacks discipline. He's dishonest. It's so painful when we've been hurt by someone to go through that experience and that reality that the person we held close to our heart didn't have the same level of respect and love for us. That is the painful part. As far as the reality of them no longer being in your life, it doesn't feel like a favor to you now, but trust me when I say that is a favor to you, because clearly he's an awful, awful human being, right? I even feel sorry for whoever he married. The fact that that's the person that they're connected to. Like, him not being in your life is at this stage in your life a blessing for you, because you don't want to be attached to someone like that who has a complete disregard for other people's feelings, other people's for his relationship, other people's health even. He's awful. He's an awful human being. But the difficulty now is obviously you coming to terms with not just your loss, but also losing him. It's going to be tough, but you can get through this. I don't think that when it comes to like the full scope of heartbreak and what women have been through, I don't think there's anything that us as women can't get through, to be honest. Like, every heartbreak I've been through has been painful in the moment, but it's always gotten progressively easier. And I'm not going to say it's, with time it'll be easy, because honestly, I don't think time necessarily heals everything, because you can sweep stuff under the carpet and time will only make that thing erupt because you ignored it. I think the important thing for you is to face everything head on, to acknowledge what happened to you. You lost a pregnancy. You were with someone that mistreated you and that just kind of like up and left you with no kind of explanation. That's the reality of the situation. It's going to be a hard pill for you to swallow, but I think acknowledging that will set you up for the next steps. And the next steps are considering like, how do you heal from that? I know people who have been through that, and I think counseling and therapy played a major part and a major role in their healing. And that's just one aspect of it. But for you, I think there's like two sides to this story. It's the loss of the child, but also the loss of the love. And I think speaking to someone on a professional level will be very, very helpful to you. And it's not something I typically advise when it comes to heartbreak. Like, I'm sure you've heard the podcast before. I don't typically tell the girlies like, I'll speak to a therapist, because I feel like heartache is generally something we can heal from on our own, right? But I think the fact that you dealt with this loss and pregnancy loss at the same time, I think it's important for you to speak to someone and also to assert boundaries. Someone like this is not the kind of person you want to re-enter your life. And I know it might be very tempting to allow him space should he come around, because they always do. But I think you need to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself from what he's capable of, because clearly he's capable of terrible things, right? He did something that's so heinous, just leaving you as you're going for a miscarriage and also like disregarding your relationship. So setting up boundaries from him, boundaries from people close to him, or maybe mutuals that you feel like could reconnect you. I think that's an important part of your healing as well. When it comes to healing from a breakup and healing from pain, one thing that's always slowed me down is having those niggling reminders, like seeing their friends, seeing their family, being able to access them. That always slowed down my healing. And I think one of the best things you can do for yourself when it comes to healing is create those boundaries and put those boundaries in place. And also consider not just what you've lost, but also what you've gained. It's painful that you've lost someone that you once loved, right? But you've also gained not just a sense of freedom, which you have gained because you are no longer attached to this person who isn't even a good person, but you've also gained a better understanding of like how you want to progress and how the kind of life and the kind of relationships you want to acquire, like moving forward. And in every painful situation, I do think there is a lesson. And that's something that obviously I want you to consider later on down the line when you feel like you've done the inner work and you've talked to someone who can support you and you've set up those boundaries. But later on down the line, it's about considering, okay, what do I want out of my life? What kind of relationship do I want? And you alluded to being married before, and also asking yourself those hard questions. Do I want to be married again? What do I want that to look like? What kind of traits do I want my partner to have? What are some of the warning signs in a partner that I can consider next time having like interacted with someone like this? Because you mentioned like in the beginning he was emotionally unavailable, and I think that's quite indicative of someone who's just at this point like not worth your time. So I also think that's an important factor. But more than anything, take time out for yourself. Like, be compassionate with yourself in the process. Like, those lessons are important, but also it's not always easy to spot these things early on. Like, give yourself grace. You like this person, you invested in this person, and this person lied to you. They were dishonest. And that's why you ended up progressing with this person in the way they did. If they weren't dishonest, chances are you would never even have stepped into this relationship and developed this relationship. So yeah, it's not your fault. It's very much his fault. I want to stress, like in evaluating the lessons, that's where you should point the blame. I talked some weeks back about my book coming out in autumn, No Fucks Given. Get in touch with us, actually. Message producer Annisha. I would love to send you that book free of charge, because I think that'll be a helpful book for the time you are in your life, and for you to better understand that the onus actually doesn't sit with you. The responsibility for healing, unfortunately, always sits with us, always sits with the victim, but it's not your fault. So I think you need to be soft with yourself and gentle with yourself as you heal. Hopefully that was helpful. Producer Anisha, you've got another dilemma for us.
I do. So our second dilemma says, "Hi, Toni. I started listening to your podcast 2 weeks ago and it's truly been a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank you.
It's helped lift me out of a low mindset I've been in lately. Here's my dilemma. I'm 22, turning 23 next month, and I've never been in a relationship, although I'm always the one giving advice to others. I've always been content being single, but lately the loneliness is starting to creep in. I've made the personal decision to wait until marriage for sex. It's not just religious, it's generally what feels right to me. Because of this, many situationships haven't turned into relationships. Guys often tell me they can't commit without sex or assume I'll eventually change my mind. Sometimes I worry that holding on to this value will leave me with regrets about my 20s, but letting it go just to have a boyfriend feels like betraying myself. So my question is, should I hold on to my values even if it means staying single longer? Or am I being unrealistic about finding a man who will truly accept this part of me?
Any question that starts with, should I hold on to my values? I don't need to hear the rest. It's an automatic yes, because those are your values. If something is part of your core belief system, right? If you hold it dear to your heart, if it is important to you as a value, I assume for the most part, it is, and up to this point, it's been a non-negotiable for you. The answer is hold on to your values. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again, the right person for you will reflect those values. They will match those values. They will complement those values. You don't want to be with someone who doesn't have that same dedication to their spiritual, their religious beliefs. If those things are important to you, you want to be with someone who can respect that. Now, let's hypothetically say that, they're not a virgin, right? And they haven't waited to marriage. You still want to be with someone who has enough love for you that they can respect your choices. Do you not? And I think fear of missing out and fear of not having a relationship and disregarding your values because of fear of missing out is my very definition of settling. That is settling. Settling, like I said in the past, is not being with someone who's 5'11" when you prefer 6'2". That's compromise. Settling is when you disregard your values or your non-negotiables to make space for somebody. You've settled. Never disregard your values. Never disregard your non-negotiables. I know women who have waited till marriage and they've been with men who have waited too and love them even more for it. Your person is out there. Please, when it comes to your values, this is a very simple dilemma for me. Stay firm, stay grounded, stay connected to them. The right person will respect those values. Please do not settle because of loneliness. It is better to be with someone who loves you and respects you and for you to find them later on in life than to be with someone who can't do those things, but you feel less lonely, right? So yeah, don't settle, please. I really hope this advice helped you out. If you know someone who could benefit from listening to this portion of the podcast or just the podcast in general, please feel free to send this episode to them. If you have a dilemma that you would love for us to answer, toni@tonitoldmepod.com is the email address. Please send us an email or you can drop us a DM via Instagram. We are getting into identity theft next. Is it always a compliment? Okay, I mean, identity theft is obviously a crime, but we mean copying. We're getting into copying next. Is it always a compliment? Before we start this segment of the pod, I want to ask Producer Anisha, I'm going to put her on the spot. Producer Anisha, have you ever had someone copy you?
I actually haven't.
Oh, haven't you?
My best friend has been, and I literally watched it all unfold. It was kind of like, obviously we mentioned Helena and Shakira in the intro.
You've been watching Love Island,
yeah.
Right? What do you think about that whole situation?
Toni, it is so weird.
Is it?
It is so, it's like freaky. Helena will go for Shakira, the guys that Shakira fancies, and will wear her bikinis while she's doing it.
Okay, wearing people's bikinis, is it just me? Is that not strange? Is that not like wearing someone's underwear?
Yeah, I think it is.
Because I feel because like you're
Your
like
nunny's
vag
touching it.
juice. Yeah, you're like
Your
vag
vag juice.
No, but you know what I mean? Like your vag juice is like touching the bikini bottom, right? Like I get people borrowing my clothes, but I would never let my friends like borrow something that's touched my vag, like just straight direct contact.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Well, her vag juice is on the bikini bottoms while she's talking to Shakira's men.
She's wild, that Helena.
Yeah, she is. Like, she's a very odd person. But anyway, yeah, my best friend has been copied and I watched it all unfold, and it was kind of like watching it on Love Island because I was at uni whilst it was happening, and then I would just see pictures of like my best friend and then the girl that she was friends with, like all of a sudden she had blonde hair.
Wow.
All of a sudden she was dressing like how my best friend dresses, and she was like doing all these things that my best friend does, and I was like, that's a bit weird.
Okay, yeah, that's weird. If someone is like morphing into you.
Yeah, she was trying to. She was trying her best to morph into my best friend.
Okay, that's very creepy.
Yeah.
That's definitely like Love Island adjacent, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm trying to think if I've been copied. Why am I going to lie and pretend that this is hard? I get copied all the time. I get people copy my tweets verbatim, word for word, and pass it off as theirs.
I have seen that. I've seen someone, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know who tweeted that.
That happens to me all the time. That really annoys me because I just feel like, I mean, there are rarely original thoughts nowadays, but the way you articulate a thought is intellectual property. So that really pisses me off, especially when like it's something that is in one of my books or is going to be featured in a book or has come from a book. That really pisses me off. The other day, I even had someone copy me. I won't go into too much detail, but basically like a creator posted a video that was near identical to a video I posted as far as like the whole concept, the whole the music in the background, everything. But I try not to take it too personally because my sister made a good point. She was like, Toni, you can't be an influencer and get mad when you influence people. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I can't really argue with that.
Tara's spitting facts.
Tara's spitting facts as always. So I was just like, okay, fair enough. And then I've had like there's been people copy me where I don't take offense to it. Like my bestie has done stuff because I've done stuff, but I don't see it as like, oh, that she's copying me and it's malicious. I see me. I think she admires me and I admire her in different ways. Yeah. And sometimes I influence her in different ways. And again, it goes back to that like influencer element of someone's personality. And I actually love to see it. When I do something and my best friend's like, oh, I want that. And I'm like, go on. Or my best friend's like, oh, I want to do this because I did it. Yeah. It's kind of like part and parcel of our relationship. It's like I expect that sometimes I'm going to do things and she's going to want to do them because I did it, because she admires me and she loves me. Same with my sister. Oh my God, I copy my sister all the time. There are a lot of people that think like I'm the... when it comes to like content and pictures and aesthetics, like I'm the one who's in the know. Oh, best believe, no. Do you know how many times I steal her picture taking locations and she kicks up a fuss? She's like, that's my location. And I'm like, sorry, you have to share the love. Or like she has an idea to do something and I'm like, I love this idea, nicking it. But we have a rule of thumb, like she has to post before me because she has like less followers. Right. And then I can post after her. Yeah, which is fair. But I copy her all the time. And I say this to say, there are different types of copying. Mm-hmm. There's the creepy Helena, Shakira, your best friend's friend copying her, which is like mad creepy and insidious. And there is like the kind of copying that is not so bad, where it's like part of your job to either influence or people are copying you because they admire you and they love you, right? So on that note, when does imitation feel like admiration? Like, where do you have that connection? I think for me, imitation feels like admiration when it comes from a place of respect and not a place of competition.
Yeah.
Right? I think that when someone is inspired by you, inspired by who you are, inspired by what you do, then they mirror that out of admiration. They mirror that because they appreciate what you do. They're like, oh, I want to be like her one day. There have been people that I've copied who are like stars or copied in the sense that I haven't replicated them identically, but I've been influenced by them. And I'm like, oh, I too want to write a book. I too want to have a podcast. I too want to do this because I appreciate the value they bring. And I'm not trying to compete with them because I acknowledge there's room for everybody, right? When imitation isn't admiration and it's creepy or it's malicious, I think, is when you're trying to copy or when you're deliberately, not copy, but when you're deliberately doing what someone else is doing in an attempt to outshine them, right? In an attempt to undermine them. I think when you admire someone, you might imitate them and uplift them at the same time. I want to do what you do, but also I'm going to shout about how amazing you are. And I think paying homage is a part of that. But sometimes people don't always pay homage, that's fair, but they're fans of you. They might copy your Instagram reel concept, but they're always liking your content. They're always commenting under your content, saying lovely things. But if they never like your posts, they never comment, and then they go and copy your reel now because they're trying to compete with you, that's when it's weird. And I think that's a big piece of it. Are they trying to compete? So with your best friend, Producer Annisha, and she had that friend who was trying to copy her, it sounds like she was copying her not out of admiring her, but because she was trying to be her or in a way compete with her. Yeah. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I kept saying like, it sounds like and it feels like she's trying to compete with you.
And that's what Shakira and Helena's situation is giving me as well.
Yeah, Helena's definitely trying to compete, like, but she's not even like trying to hide it either. Like, she's making it obvious she's trying to compete, which makes it even more weird. Because you're openly saying you're a weirdo, basically.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that I said in the past that was influenced by Oprah Winfrey, the first time I heard it, it was Oprah Winfrey who said it, and it actually features in a book I'm writing that's coming out next year. I feel like I'm always writing books. Bloody hell, I need to take a break. This is why I'm getting ill. Like, I literally have no downtime, right? And the irony is that in the book that's coming out in 2026, I'm like, burnout is really bad. Don't burn out.
She writes
Hustle
as
culture.
She's burned out.
Literally, as I'm burning out as I'm writing this book. Anyway. So I have this book coming out in 2026, right? And a core part of the book is a lesson that I took from Oprah Winfrey many years ago, where she said, you cannot be friends with someone who wants your life. And it sounded like your best friend was friends with someone who kind of wanted her life. And it sounds like Helena from Love Island kind of wants Shakira's life.
Yeah.
And I think that is a massive, massive red flag in friendships, being friends with someone who wants your life. And I know some people are like, oh, again, what's the difference? Like, you've talked about competition. Are there any other differences? Here's a fabulous example. And this is an example that I even popped in that book. Someone who is influenced by you from a place of admiration might want to copy you, but they're not copying you exactly, right? They're copying how you maneuver or how you show up in the world. So I'm fully aware that some young women might see me and see my relationship with Taiwo and think, oh my God, I want a relationship just like that on the surface, obviously, because no one knows what happens behind closed doors. Like, never admire someone's relationship to that degree, but this is just an example. They might on the surface think, I want a relationship just like that. Taiwo appears to really, really love Toni. He celebrates Toni. He really cares about Toni. And I too like men who look like Taiwo. I want to find my own Taiwo, right? That is someone being in admiration and being influenced. And they're like, oh, I want to find my person who loves me in a way that appears he loves Toni. I want to find my own person. I think that's healthy, right? Yeah. I've seen Ciara and Russell Wilson and thinking one day before I met Taiwo, I'm going to find my Russell Wilson.
I love that.
Aren't they so lovely?
They're so cute. And they're trying to matchmake everyone as well. Can they matchmake me?
And they're succeeding. Coco Jones.
Yes.
Newly engaged. Normani.
Yes.
Newly engaged.
Was it not Tiana Taylor and Aaron Pierre as well?
Did they match them as well?
Maybe I'm lying.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But they're succeeding.
They could have done.
They're succeeding. Yeah. And seeing that relationship, I was like, okay, I really love the dynamic of this relationship. Like, he really pulls into this woman. I want a man like that, right? And I found my own person who reflects those values. Now, that is perfectly healthy. What is unhealthy now is someone seeing me and Taiwo and thinking, I want Taiwo.
I want that man.
I want that man. I want to be her. I want to copy her life, and I want him specifically.
Do you know what it gives? Obsession. You know, that film with Beyonce?
My God, yes.
And then she tries to kill Beyonce.
That's a perfect example. Oh my God.
You can't kill a bad bitch.
You can't kill a bad bitch. But that's the perfect example. Like, that line between obsession and admiration, right? And imitation because you appreciate versus imitation because you want to compete or undermine or be them. And I think that is the distinction. I think we've made that very clear. It's the same with like jobs, right? Your friend, for example, my best friend, when I was working in the NHS and I left the NHS, my best friend was looking for jobs. And she was like, oh, I need to find a job. I need to find one soon. And this was when we were in our 20s. And I was like, why not the NHS? And she was like, oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you did it and you liked it. It was cool. It worked. And I said, just do it. Just NHS. And she went to the NHS and she was like, yeah, I'm going to do that too. And I did my degree in communications and media. My sister was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that too because of that positive influence. But if I was working in the NHS and my best friend at the time called up my job and told them, oh, you know, Toni, yeah, she's not doing her work.
You need to fire her.
Yeah, I see her like she should be in meetings. Really, she's on Facebook. She's doing this, that, and the third. You need to get rid of her. And then she takes my job. Oh, yeah, that's fucked up. That's the kind of copying that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But doing something because you admire someone and you genuinely respect them, that's fine. So how do you spot when it's moving into that territory? Because some of you may be listening and you have a friend that copies a lot of the things you do. And some of you may find it really endearing. Others may be listening to this podcast and slightly freaking out because you're like, bruh, should I be worried?
Is she going to kill me?
Is she going to try and kill me? She's going to
She
try and
wants to
take my
be me?
place, take my spot, change her name to mine. Like, so I'm going to outline some of the ways that I think it's moving into like how you can spot it moving into weird or toxic territory. So number one, copying with zero acknowledgement. They're not giving you credit. No homage, no nods to you. And it starts to feel like they're claiming your voice. They're not echoing it. They're trying to do what you do while disregarding that you've done it before them. I think that could be an indicator. Not always, sometimes. So like interpersonal dynamics where I know you in real life, if you do something I do and you're close to me and there's like zero acknowledgement of the fact I did it first, that's kind of weird. Like, for example, if I went and shaved, I've done that before actually, shaved the side of my head. I used to have like, like Cassie back in the day where she had like long hair.
And the shaved
yeah, I don't know
inside.
what possessed me, but I did shave the side of my hair. Maybe that's why I could do a pixie because I'm not like connected to my hair in that way. If you could shave the side of your head, you could do anything.
Yeah.
So I shaved the side of my head and I left the other side long. And I did that because I admired how it looked on Cassie. So I copied her, right? Now, if I did that and immediately my best friend went and did that, but she never said anything about the fact that my head was shaved, that would be so creepy and weird. But I think when you're close, yeah, acknowledging it is key. Now, when you're not so close, say it's like on social media, I don't think you necessarily need to acknowledge. Actually, tell a lie. It depends on the role the person plays. I'm saying that as someone who's a content creator and an influencer. I expect that people will copy me and there'll be zero acknowledgement. But actually, if I had like 200 followers and I did something awesome on social media and then someone just copied me, now that's wild, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, acknowledgement. Sorry, I take it back. Acknowledgement, I think, is key. And I'm not saying unless they're an influencer, like copy every influencer and don't acknowledge their influence. But I think, yeah, acknowledgement for the most part is important. Number two, we addressed this earlier. It feels like they're trying to be you. They're adopting your style. They're adopting your phrases, your opinions, or even your life choices. It's not them being influenced by you, taking it, remixing it, and then like manifesting it in their own life to suit them in a different way. They're doing things as you do them in an almost identical way. And they're doing things that you wouldn't ordinarily copy. Like, I think it's normal to copy certain things, but then there are other things that, yeah, if someone's copying your life choices, they have certain life choices, then all of a sudden they do like a 180. That's kind of weird. Unless there's like a natural evolution.
Yeah.
For example, let me think of a life choice. Okay, say for example, you have a friend who's like, I swear I never want kids, and you're both like, yeah, I never want kids. Then you decide you want to be a foster parent, right? If after a couple years they decide they too want to foster, absolutely normal. If 2 weeks after you foster your kid, they go, oh, look, I have a matching kid. That's weird, right? So like that's an example of someone doing like a rapid 180 that I think is weird. Or if you don't hang out with someone and you don't have a close relationship and you find that they're adopting a lot of your personal style and personal phrases, like someone who is not connected to you, maybe like 7 degrees disconnected, and all of a sudden you find that you hop onto your social media and you know of this person, but now they've got the same hair as you. They're saying the same key phrases as you.
That'd be so weird.
They've changed the way they walk, the way they talk.
No.
That's weird, right? So yeah, I think if they're trying to be you, that's strange. And you can tell they're trying to be you, especially if they're trying to undermine you or they're trying to sabotage you in some way. If they're trying to take your partner or take your job or take your opportunity, they're definitely trying to be you. They're not being influenced by you. They are trying to become you. Number 3, if it triggers discomfort or confusion in you, gut feeling, I think, is so important. And we don't pay attention to it enough. Right now, I can't trust my gut because I've been feeling so ill, right? But when your gut is in a healthy state, pay attention to it. There are going to be moments in your life where someone does something and for whatever reason, you can't put your finger on it, but it just rubs you the wrong way. And you want to try and explain it, but you can't. It's something in you that's telling you this isn't correct, this isn't normal, this isn't sensible. So if you feel unsettled watching someone, or if you feel like in them imitating you, they're also kind of like disregarding your feelings or your own sense of identity is being chipped at, or they're picking at you while simultaneously like trying to become you, pay attention to that feeling. You may even start second guessing your own originality. That's what's wild. I've had people copy my content or copy my writing, and I see it play out and I'm like, wait, where did I get it from? Did I even write that? I've seen people copy my tweet. Oh my God, Producer Annisha, I've seen people copy my tweets word for word. I've seen that tweet up and I'm like, I recognize this. I'm like, whose is this? And then I have to go back to one of my books or one of my old pieces of content. I'm like, wait, this is me. And then I'm like, wait, was it me? But I'm seeing like 10 other people share this. And I'm like, wait, no, I was the first one. And you're starting to gaslight yourself because you're thinking, ain't no way someone's copying me like there's no way someone is really copying me to this degree. And you start feeling crazy. So yeah, if you start feeling uncomfortable, you're questioning your own sense of originality and your own uniqueness, that's a sign in itself. Also, if there is a pattern of one-sidedness, like say, for example, you have a close friend and it's never a case of you influencing each other and being admired by each other and replicating each other, but they are always only replicating you. That's a cause for concern. Unless, again, it's part of your job. Like if you're an influencer or a content creator and people are always copying you and you're not copying them, it's kind of part and parcel of your role, right? But if it's not that kind of dynamic where there's an expectation set and you have a close relationship and they are always doing things you do in the same way you do them and you never reciprocate that, that's also slightly, I'm not going to say it's a red flag, but it's kind of like slightly concerning, like a bit of an amber one to consider. Like, why is it this person is always trying to do what I'm doing, but I'm never trying to do what they're doing? Is it a relationship that actually isn't built on mutual values? Is it built on them being obsessed with you, right? In which case you don't necessarily want to be in a relationship that is like that because it can prove to be like unhealthy. We talked about possessive friends in what was it, like 2 or 3 episodes ago. Yeah. And that's how you end up with a possessive friend because they're obsessed with you, like every little detail. And my last point is that they get defensive or they get secretive. If you bring it up, like say you noticed that you applied for something and your friend applied for it too and never actually mentioned it. And you say, oh, I see that you also applied for the scholarship I mentioned to you. Like, how come you never told me anything? And they're like, oh, it's not just you that can apply for a scholarship. Okay. That defensiveness could be indicative of something, right? Or say you see them do something and it's clear that they've copied you, like they've done something in a certain way and you say, oh, I did that originally. Like, I see you've done this. I also did that. And they totally try and gaslight you. I don't remember that. I don't see that. Oh, no, you didn't. You must be mistaken. I think that is also indicative of someone who is doing it not from a loving place, but maybe a place of competition. So how do we address it? If someone we think is obsessed over us and keeps copying every little thing we do, how do you address it? You could move mad. I've had a friend do this before where she did something that is so out of like, basically, a friend was copying her style, right? So she decided to do something that she hated. Didn't look good on her. She just wanted to see if the girl would copy, and the girl copied, right?
That's so clever.
So you could do something that's just...
wild.
Yeah, like left field.
Yeah.
And just be like, I think this person is copying. I'm going to dye my hair pink. Bada bing, bada boom. There's your answer, right? But that's not what I would recommend. I would actually recommend, if there's someone close to you, maybe just have a conversation about it. Like talk to them about it and just say, I've noticed that I've been doing things and you've been doing them too. No, you're laughing because Annisha.
That's such an awkward, imagine sitting down
It's
like,
an awkward conversation.
I've noticed that you've been copying me a lot.
Yeah, it's better than like not talking to them and sharing it on social. I got married in Italy. Like, Courtney got married in Italy. I had Andrea Bocelli sing at my wedding. Who did she have at her wedding? Andrea Bocelli. So sorry, I was just thinking about Kim Kardashian.
Such a good little reenactment.
But like, if someone's copying with you, you could blast them online, right?
Yeah.
Or wait, I swear, sorry, I'm thinking of like pop culture. Come on, Chelsea. Wasn't that reference about being copied? That girl on TikTok.
Oh, come on, Chelsea.
I swear she said that she wore something and a friend copied it and she was like, come on, Chelsea.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Come on, Chelsea.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You see what I mean? It's very common. Sisters with sisters, friends with friends. So yeah, before you maybe blast them on social media, because I know that can be very tempting. The amount of times I have blasted people on social media, I'm like, this person copied my tweet. Do you know what I hate though? I can't lie. If it's someone close to me, I'm going to have the conversation. If you're not close to me, I might blast you, right? So if I blast someone on social media, I did this with a guy actually. He shared one of my tweets word for word. And he's an author himself. In the end, we've got it cleared up, whatever, it is what it is. But he shared one of my tweets word for word. So then I put out a tweet like, bruh, you're supposed to be an author and you're copying other authors. This is really bad on your part. This doesn't look good. Then he DM'd me talking about, I should have had the manners and the respect to come to him personally. I said, bro, how are you going to steal from me? And then talk about my manners and my respect. Anyway, so yeah, if it's someone close to you, if it's someone who's stolen your intellectual property and they're not close to you, go ham. I can't even sit here and do high and mighty and self-righteous and sit on this throne and talk about, oh, speak to them directly. No, I will blast people. I don't care. If I don't know you, I'll blast them. So feel free to blast. I even see like brands do that all the time.
Yeah.
Have you seen what's going on with Marks and Spencer and the cookies?
No.
So Marks and Spencer right now have these like stuffed cookies.
Yes, I saw those.
And I'm a big M&S fan. I'm not going to lie. I love M&S.
I do love the original cookies personally.
Yes, I love M&S, but I'm disappointed in them. I am disappointed.
Did they copy?
Because they have these stuffed cookies. There's like, I think, a chocolate one, a pistachio. Yes, and there's another one.
Yeah.
And this cookie company came out on TikTok and said, M&S has contacted them, I think like a year ago, about their stuffed cookies. They had meetings with M&S. Then M&S said, come to our kitchen warehouse, recreate these cookies with M&S ingredients, which they did.
And they just stole them.
Bruv. And then M&S went and told them, oh, actually, we don't want to move forward. We've decided we don't want to move forward with your stuffed cookies. The company said, okay, we'll charge you to the game. It is what it is. Lo and behold, now they've got bloody stuffed cookies.
Naughty.
Like literally months later. And I think that's an example of copying, but doing it in a very, very bad way.
Yeah.
Acknowledgement. All it took was for M&S to like collab with this company, right? But they didn't do that. So naughty M&S. I'm disappointed in you. But yeah, sometimes you're going to have to blast people.
Yeah.
Feel free, if you don't know them or they've stolen your intellectual property, feel free to blast. But if it's someone you know, I do think, I agree with producer Anisha, it's an awkward conversation to have, but have the awkward conversation. Say to them, look, I know we're close and I know that like we look up to each other. But I've also noticed that like there are a lot of things I do that you then do. And look, it's a free word. I'm not saying that you can't do those things, but it's been so many occasions now that sometimes sometimes I worry that like you're doing things just because I'm doing them and not because that's what you really want. So maybe even approach it like from a place of care. Like, is this what you really want for yourself?
You want to be like me?
Yeah. Is this true to who you are? Or are you just trying to just be like me? But you're amazing as you are. You're unique. Like, be yourself. So maybe approach it like that, like in a loving way. Maybe less passive aggressive than how I've just done it. But like in a loving way, like, look, I notice you're copying me, but I want you to find your own lane. I want you to find your own voice as well. So I think that's important to have, like, speak to people who are close to you. If they mean something to you, speak to them. If not, feel free to blast. I don't care. I love a good blast on social media. Me can't lie. As you know, I always end each episode with positive words, and it's been very lighthearted this episode. I quite enjoyed the lightheartedness of it, right? Outside of the dilemmas we had that were obviously very serious, the actual core of the episode has been lighthearted. So I'll bring it back to something more serious. It is very easy when people copy you to just feel automatically frustrated, and trust me, that's how I feel. Often, like, I get it. I immediately just want to pop off. And I often have to go to people who can act as buffers. Like I said earlier in this episode, my sister was the buffer when she said, Toni, you can't expect to be an influencer and not influence. And I guess that's what my positive word is going to be today. As frustrating as imitation might be, I understand why people say it's a form of flattery. It doesn't feel like flattery when people don't go about it in the right way. I'm not going to lie, it doesn't. But it's flattery nonetheless, because you are setting the tone. You are the muse. You are the originator. And I think that is the silver lining in all of this. As frustrating as it is when people copy you, it's a reflection that you are doing something right, that people look up to you, that people admire you, that people sometimes might even want to be you. And it can verge on creepy. Yeah, it can. I'm not going to pretend it can't. Sometimes it can get creepy. But for the most part, I think that it's important that you don't lose sight of the positive lesson in that. That you are clearly someone who is proud of their uniqueness, or walking in their own lane, or someone who just comes across confident, inspirational. And I think there's a beauty in being imitated sometimes. Like, living life and having nobody copy you might also be a bad sign in itself. Like, there's nothing you're doing that is worth influencing other people in their eyes, right? But I think on occasion, if people copy you, yeah, it's going to be frustrating, but it's also a sign that you're doing something right. So focus on that, remember that, and be proud of yourself for being able to be an influence onto others in a positive way. Anyway, that is all from me. This has been a fun episode. I quite like the topic of today.
It's a good topic.
Yeah, it's a good topic. It's not one I've considered before. So shout out to producer Anisha, like always coming through with the gems.
It's a good topic. Who picked it?
Yeah. the brains behind our topic choices. So yeah, this was a fantastic topic. If you enjoy it, please send it to other people. If someone is copying you, send it to them. That's another way to approach the conversation, by just sending them the episode of this podcast. But that is all from me for this week. Please share on social media. Please follow us. Please leave a comment. Please review if you've never reviewed before. Every little helps. And we will be back next week with another episode.